I'm not for the big on the big lie. Okay. Let's move on. Tim Pool. Tim Fool. Timmy Boy had an opinion. So, he had an opinion about the French Revolution, something that I guess he didn't know a lot about, that really hit me the weird way. Because it almost made it feel like you could blame literally none of your issues on the government. And no matter what the government does, it isn't the government's fault if you're suffering. Let's listen to what he has to say.
There's a homeless guy outside, and he's like, let me sleep in your house. And I'm like, no, you are causing my suffering. It is your fault. Then activists show up, and they're like, the only reason this man is suffering is because Tim Pool won't let him in his house. It's like, no, the dude is responsible for his own shelter, man.
To a point, but the French Revolution...
No, literally to period.
Well, but if there's a monarch that's hoarding all the materials so that the people are starving and suffering, it is the monarch's fault.
Why?
Because he's, by force, keeping them from their stuff. Or
Wait,
the stuff that their community has produced.
So can they, like, leave?
Sir, the government has taken everything from you. Guess I'll just start with no money, dirt poor, nothing I should do. It's all my fault for letting the government take all my stuff away and tread on me. Why don't I just move with no money? Let me just move to another country that I don't know the language of so I could be terribly exploited in a sweatshop. Just move. Also, if you're in a nation like, I don't know, North Korea, just moving might not even be an option. Oh my God.
It depends. I mean,
Is the king going, you can't even leave?
That actually is a good question, because where are you going to go? Are you going to go west?
Right.
You go in the middle of the woods.
Oh yeah. I mean, that works with us.
I would like to see Tim Pool with no belongings, no money, and no resources just go into the middle of woods and make it happen. Oh God, I stubbed my toe. No penicillin? Guess I'm dead now. Brilliant. Brilliant. Also, as somebody brought up in chat, kings have stopped people from leaving and emigrating out from their country many times in history. So yes, that has happened on multiple occasions.
The point is about Cuba.
Yeah.
Cuba's food problem is Cuba's problem. Cuba's medicine problem is Cuba's problem. There is no obligation from any other country to give to them.
Such a strange argument. This sounds like the argumentation I would have heard from a redcoat. We don't really like that there's no representation in government, and we think the king is taxing us too much, and we believe that the king is taking from us, and we want to be able to make our own way. Just move into the woods. Just leave. If you don't love it, leave it. The Tim Pool just sounds like a redcoat during the American Revolution. He's one of the guys who would have been tarred and feathered in the public square for supporting the king. That's what he sounds like. This is such a strange position to hold. So number one, many people can't survive in the woods, and they would like to use the skills they've earned in your trade to make an honest living in the job that they want to. Not everybody wants to be Robin Hood living in the woods. Number two, a lot of people legitimately couldn't leave kingdoms because kings actually did block emigration. Number three, if the king takes all of your resources and food and stuff away from you, then it's kind of hard to stop from like square one. And if you make all this wealth, what's to stop the king from just going into the woods and stealing all your stuff in the woods? Number four, people would like to live in the modern world and not have to die if they stub their toe like they're living in Ann Prim society because they can't access penicillin. This is all ridiculous. And number five, people have long enduring ties to their neighborhoods. If I had to pay an extra $100 to live in this neighborhood in comparison to the neighborhood next, I would do it. Why? Because I love my neighborhood. I love my family. I love the people around me. And I'd like to continue to live around them and continue to participate in the culture that is the local community that I live in. Most people are like that. So the government putting them in a position where they can't live in their own communities, either through gentrification or other processes, is bad. And we can't just excuse it with, well, you could live by yourself in the wilderness. And let me just be clear, Tim Pool could never do that. Tim Pool, immediately, once he tries to live in the woods without his complex and all this money, he would fall apart in an instant. Not even a question. You remove that beanie, and you have a frail man who could not be a survivalist, okay? He is not Bear Grylls. What a ridiculous individual. It's so weird, too. Does he really think everybody can just move into the middle of a forest? Is he really the Pol Pot of the French Revolution? Because that was Pol Pot's solution for modern society, by the way. His thing was to push everybody from out of the cities into the countryside to live in an agrarian society. That's what Pol Pot did. So he's basically the Pol Pot of the French Revolution. Absolutely ridiculous.